Yep, says we're live on my end. Hooray!
Yay, we're
Hey
live.
there.
Hello, everybody. We can do just a little bit of chit chat and give people some time to trickle in here and join the chat. So, if you're wondering where Susie is, she is stuck in traffic. She will join us as soon as she can. But here we are. It is April. It is not a joke. We're here, and
Yeah. Good point. Good point. It's funny the way it fell on the first.
I know. I noticed that. And I was like, oh, I better put something on the title of the stream. Otherwise, people are going to think, oh, it's not really a live stream.
You should check out. You should check out Goku Runner's site. He has
I saw that
video on there, which was very interesting. Hooray for him! So
yeah.
I don't want to give up too much, but people should check out his latest. It's pretty fun.
Yeah.
I'll have to do that when we're done.
And I got through it and went, oh, well played, good job.
Right.
All right. So while we are waiting for people to come in, if everybody wants to just take a second to introduce yourself, tell the name of your channel, and what you are currently training for. All
right. I'll go first. Brian from Rasa Runs, and it's so weird saying that to other people. Yeah, so I run a ultra running channel. I'm training currently for multiple things, but my next endeavor is going to be in a few weeks. It's a 50 miler. June I have 100K, and July I have a 100 miler. So my current training platform is tailored towards that 50 miler, progressionally up to the 100K in June. So yeah, check me out. I run that on YouTube, and then like IG and TikTok, I'm still under Rosser Runs. A lot of photos, and been concentrating a little bit more with my training on doing small shorts a few times a week. And I'm starting to dive into the live stream world as well. Still figuring that stuff out. Not that smooth. A lot better with people to have like some type of interaction. And then usually once a week I have my recap of what's going on. And I have a series going on right now for World's End 100K for June. And the 50 miler is just a build up for it. And everything is tailored towards suicide prevention. That's the cause I'm shooting for. So give me a look-see on YouTube. That's where everything's at. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
Yeah, you run like a crazy amount of miles.
Actually, the marathon people that I watch training, you guys are pretty similar to what I do. You guys, I think, are more insane because you're running it faster. I'm just hitting vertical, and I hit a lot of trail as well, which has a little bit of extra flavor to it. But I don't envy you half marathon people. Like that's a different animal. That's what I consider crazy. You guys think running 100 miles is crazy? No, running full speed for the distance that you guys do, that's illogical.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there, Russ. It's I do it, but nonetheless, I know I'm crazy. So.
Right.
All right, Paul, introduce yourself.
Sure. My name's Paul. I host the Dev Runner channel on YouTube. You can find me there, obviously, at Dev Runner. I'm also on Instagram as the Dev Runner. I'm on Strava as Paul DeVillo. So follow me anywhere and everywhere. I'd love to be able to talk with the more runners, the better. So currently, I am about 36 hours away from a half marathon time trial, which yeah, I'm doing my best to keep calm. But I just found out like a week ago that my original plan of running that that time trial on an official pre-measured road course went out the window because the start and finish lines are unavailable to me. So because they're on a private road. So I gave that up and immediately scrambling around, and I signed a whole lot of legal papers a few days ago so that I could get access to my local high school's 400-meter track on Saturday morning. And so I'm going to be running 52 3/4 laps around a 400-meter track in order to hit an official half marathon distance, if I make it that far.
Yes.
So the goal is to try to run this thing in 79 minutes and 59 seconds or faster. And because of my experience with people like Rosser, with people like Anthony from Running for My Best Life, I decided that I was going to add an extra aspect to this half marathon time trial, and I am, in fact, I have connected a charity giving
A cause.
To this whole thing. So I'm trying to get money raised for UNICEF. So anybody, if you're interested, if you've got a couple of bucks to spare, head over to my channel. Go to the last couple of my training videos, and you'll see a link in the description that will lead you directly to the GoFundMe page. And I just want to say thank you ahead of time. So without going on any longer, Heather, that's me in a nutshell right now.
All right. And
I have a few questions for Paul. Are you going to be doing this by yourself? Do you have a crew there? Is anybody going to, for the YouTube channel, are they going to film, or are you going to have family there, like with food? Is there going to be people rooting you on, like 1 or 2 people? I'm sure you're not going to have like hundreds, but like, are you doing it by yourself?
yes, is self-supported or?
Well, that's, believe it or not, I'm only 36 hours out, and yet all these questions have not even been answered yet. I know that my wife is going to be.
That's how I run things. Yes.
Yeah, my wife is going to be there. My mom is likely to be there, believe it or not, and we're going to try to. What I would really like to do is have a lineup of bottles on a table right beside the inside lane on the track, and so I can grab them and toss them every couple of laps. But barring that, if that doesn't seem like it's going to work out, then I'm actually going to wear my race pack on my back with a couple of 2 or 3 bottles worth of water with tailwind in it, and we'll go from there and see what happens.
Yeah. What do you do for food? Are you going to have that fruit and stuff set up on a table? Do you do any food? Are you just using gels?
Yeah.
This is all new to me. Like what you guys do.
Yeah. This is only a half marathon, so there's no. What I'm going to do is I'll hit a gel at miles 3, 6, and probably anywhere between 9 and 10, and then just cruise it on through. So it's going to be. I need a minimal of water, really. The only reason I'm not going to have a handheld is because it kind of messes with my stride. I feel unbalanced so I'd rather, if it comes down to it, I'd rather have the weight on my back than my hand. So, but yeah, it'd be 3 gels and a little bit of tailwind. Hopefully will get me through.
I can't run with a handheld just because I don't like listening to it sloshing around in my hand. It just really gets to me after a while.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I'm with you. Yeah.
Do you run with a Garmin, some type of watch? So when you are running, are you constantly looking at your pace and trying to stay in a certain something?
Yeah, I don't want to burn out early. So my goal is, if everything works out, I'm just going to run 90-second laps, 52 3/4 times, and then that should squeak me in with 10 seconds to spare, I think. So, we'll see. We will see. I have no idea if this is going to be doable. I'll know by lap 10 if I'm done for or not.
Yeah, you can usually tell within the first couple of miles if this is going to happen or not.
Yeah, I've had some false flags before in races, like that first couple of miles, even on a nothing run when you're just out there. Sometimes that first couple of miles can feel terrible, and you think you're in for it, and it turns out to be a good day. So, yeah, I'm not going to touch it until I'm a couple of miles in.
That's every ultra. So if you're running 100 miles, there is 2 or 3 times that you are like, there is 0% chance I could move on. And then you get through it within an hour or two of like maybe throwing up, almost passing out, things like that. And then you feel great again and you're like, oh, I'm so glad I pushed on further. And then you bonk and hit that wall again. And it's multiple times that, running is all up here. The physical aspect,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
It's
that's
funny
all.
though, talking about that kind of the going through really physically rough portions in a race. There's a race, there's a marathon that I've run, believe it or not, 5 times. And even though it's officially even though it's a road marathon, it's like a mountain in the mountains of North Carolina, and it's all, with the exception of like the final 2 miles of the run, it's all on very rocky sort of dirt road. So it's bordering on trail. But the thing is, you start off the first like 6 miles or like rolling terrain at the top of a mountain, and then you plunge down. Like you lose like 2,000 feet of elevation in the space of like 6 miles. And usually,
Wow.
when I get to the bottom of that 6 mile downhill from all the bouncing,
Mm-hmm.
my stomach wants to explode, and you feel like you're going to die at about mile 14, but then it levels out again. So if you can
Right.
last through that mile 14, it's all good from there.
Well, that's like I'm doing the Little Rock Marathon. It was supposed to be this month. Now it's in November. But you hit a hill at, I think, mile 23. And that's like you've
Oof.
already hit the wall at that point, and now you have to go uphill. So, but at least now I know that's going to happen. So I'll be prepared for it.
Yeah, exactly. Knowing it's there makes all the difference. Yeah. It's funny because the Charlotte Marathon, though I've never run it, the reason I've never run it is because the last 2 miles are just up, 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 up. And I'm like, come on, give me a break here.
I've heard that about the Boulder. They say around mile 4 or so, they said that it's a hill, and when you're not ready for it, it just looks like this concrete tsunami in front of you, where it's not that bad, but it just feels worse than it is.
Oh, yeah. After you've gone 20 some odd miles, like the slightest hill feels like the worst thing in the world.
Do you guys do run walk at all when you're
Yes.
in that type of situation?
Yeah, I don't. But yeah, I mean, when I was training, when I was new to running, of course, yeah, I think,
Yeah.
No, when I first
Pretty much
started,
anything beyond a half marathon, I'm going to use a run walk.
okay, when I first started running and I was doing half marathons, everything was a statistic that I had to stay at. So it was like walking wasn't an option until I got into ultras, and then it's just the opposite. You have to strategically attack certain things. And then when I ran a few marathons after I was running ultras, I did run walk, and I think I did just as good, if not better. My body was able to uh, put out the proper amount of energy, recover, and then I was able to make that up. And I was more consistent when I was able to play with my energy a little bit. So pull back, because if I some of the marathons like Penn State Marathon and things like that I've done, they actually have some vert in it, not a ginormous amount, but it's not a flat marathon. So if you do it the right way, I'm not destroying, like totally burning out muscles by trying to run the whole thing. I strategically do it, and
it's a
so
very smart approach.
yeah, I believe uh, you need to adapt during all the races.
Mm-hmm.
So and figure that stuff out. So some of them I don't plan on it. I'm saying marathon, half marathon to actually walk. But sometimes you're like, yes, walk now, recover and then blow through it. So
Oh, exactly.
Walking or dying. So
right. Pretty much, yeah. When I start to tunnel vision and my legs are on fire,
right.
prevents
cramping and things like that as well. So
yeah. Heather, I'm curious. I just want to. I'd love to get some more insight into how the 5K training is going. I just watched your video about week 3, but yeah.
Actually, I did the fartlek run today that I talked about in my latest update. And for anybody that is wanting some more information on how the 5K time trial is going, Susie and I are actually going to be having a live stream this Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 Central. And we are going to be talking about what we've been doing so far and open things up for questions. And it's going to be fun because I will have run a real live 5K that morning. So it's the first race around here that's opened up, so I signed up for it. So it's
That's
the
awesome.
first live race I've done in over a year. So this is really going to be fun. But,
Oh, I'm
so we'll
jealous.
talk
I'm
about
so
that.
jealous. That's great. That's great. I cannot wait to race a real race again.
Oh,
Yeah, I haven't run with more than probably 4 people in over a year. So to run with actual people would be pretty interesting.
Yeah, yeah. I've run with no one since last early March. So it's like, yikes.
mhm. Well, it's funny that all of this talk has kind of been centered around a lot of long runs because it's kind of where we're kind of headed with today's stream is talking about long runs and just kind of your approach towards long runs and how how you fuel them, how you recover. So first of all, are you the type that measures your long runs? Do you go by time or do you want to go by distance?
Uh,
Go
What do you
ahead.
think, Paul? Paul, what do you think?
Okay. Yeah, it depends. If we're talking about purely like, the classic Sunday long run where you're really going out for the longest mileage day of the week, then I've always measured it by distance. I've always set a distance goal and just gone till I get there, unless I blow up and then I just go home with my tail between my legs. But yeah, it's always been a distance thing for me. So, but there are a good number of different workouts that have fallen within that long run over the years, and depending on where you are in a cycle, or if you're just running just because it's fun and you don't have a race coming up, then it's just kind of a free for all. I'm just enjoying it. But when I'm depending on where I am in a cycle, when I'm in training, then it can be anything from like a steady state run where you just get out the door and try to hold the same pace from top to bottom, or my favorites are always the progression runs, though, where you try to go up. Sorry, my screen's going crazy here. My apologies. Okay, I'm good. A progression run where you try to at fixed intervals you bring your speed up and try to be moving your fastest for the last few miles, which is killer. But it prepares you. Doing things like that prepares you for your race experience, because trying to be faster when you're in the most pain that's exactly what a marathon is. So,
Right.
so the fewer surprises you have on race day, the better. If you know what that pain feels like, it's just going to make you that much more bulletproof.
Brian, how about you?
Yeah, mine would be similar to where it depends on the type of long run I'm doing. Like last week, my long run was on trail, and I did 4,700 feet of climb, and we did 22 miles. And it was on technical trail, a lot of mud. We crossed a lot of streams and stuff like that. That is purely distance. Uh, if I'm doing, say, this weekend, my long run is going to be either 20 or 25 miles, and I do it on road, and I want to have certain time frames built into that. And then the last few miles, depending on how well I did and how well I feel, I want to come home strong and push it, because that's usually when you're dead, and I want to, push my body to the limit then. So that again is still distance based, but I play with time in there. When I'm on trail, I don't know. Time doesn't exist. I'm in a spiritual world. I enjoy it. I'm on technical trail that does elevation, so I'm getting my workout in. My body is getting beat up. So, and I'm not going for first place in any of my races on trail. So I just want to complete them without dying in a safe manner. So trail stuff is strictly mileage, and then you're figuring out your body nutrition and hydration on both type of runs. So like on my trail, I definitely double my calories and my hydration. And on road, I could work, I could crunch numbers a lot mathematically, a lot more mathematically on a road basis. So, it has its, uh, as I said, two categories: trail and road, all by mileage,
Right.
with a little bit of pace broken into it depending on what's going on. So, how about you?
That's something that I never really have thought about before, is that I know a lot of ultra runners that keep track of elevation, and that's something that I've never had to figure into the calculations before. So that's something that's really interesting.
Yeah, that's for me when I started running, especially most people that I talk to that are ultra runners get there progressionally. Like they start out running a mile or two, 5K, 10K, half marathon, and they progress forward. It's usually all started out on road and then they break into trail. I learned a lot from that stuff, and I have to figure out certain numbers and things like that, or
Right.
it's not doable, So I don't know. Figuring out all that stuff is just trial and error and try not to die.
Yeah. Same thing on the roads on that last point you just made. It's just, I mean,
Yeah, just don't die before you get home.
don't die.
Get home, then die.
I think you bring up a good point, because I think whether you're running trails or running roads, the long run, I think every long run needs to be a bit of an experiment, whether you're experimenting with your nutrition or paces or shoes. I know everybody. Hopefully, this is something that everybody already knows, but just in case there's somebody out there who's new, nothing new on race day. Make sure you've done all your homework. That's what those long runs are for, is learn what works for you and head to your given race with all that stuff already broken in.
Yeah. I actually have a video coming out sometime this month that kind of focuses on what to do in your first 5K, and I stress that pretty heavily. Nothing new on race day.
Yeah.
Right.
One of the most important points.
Yeah, on same thing on the ultra scene, except you go by what your body is craving, especially when you are in deep 20 hours in, 50, 60 miles plus. If you're craving salt, you find food with salt in it. Your main goal after a certain point.
Oh, I think we got to freeze up.
Oh
Uh-oh.
Oh, wait, there he was again.
there he is.
You're back.
Yeah.
All right.
So my main point would be to get something in your system, what your body could handle without GI issues or throwing up, because you might be running 15 plus miles or so with just taking sips of water out of a cap, just to get something in your system and to work through it. But for the most part, in the early stages, I stick to almost my own nutrition plan. And then when it gets deep, you just go with the flow.
Yeah. Coach Morgan on the Run Experience channel, she did a video recently where she was talking about things that she wished she knew before her first ultra, and she talked about her first 100-miler where she came up to an aid station and she grabbed a package of M&Ms because they're her favorite thing. She said she put them in her mouth and immediately spit them back out because she's like, that's not what my body wanted right then.
Definitely.
You know what's funny? You know what's really funny is, like, I'm a chocolate freak in just daily life. but there's something about I think it's not called chocolate flavor, but there's a Cliff Gel that's like mocha or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That is, it just seems so utterly rancid when I'm running. But if I could, as soon as I'm done running, I could take one of those and put it on top of a cupcake, and I'd love it. It's just weird.
Right. Well, there's a video with Courtney DeWalter in it, and when she was, don't know who, what race it was, but she was doing a 200 miler or 250 or something like that, and she was in the lead almost the whole thing until the last, 10 miles or so, and she said she struggled for a good portion, and she wasn't. And then somebody said pancake with syrup on it. She's like, I'll try it. And she didn't eat for like 20, 30 miles or so. She was barely taking anything in. And she ate one, and she's like, I could do this. Whoever thought of pancakes right now, genius. And she started eating that, and it got her like calories and stuff. So like she was able to move. So, once again, you go by what you could actually take in at that time.
Yeah.
So, because I don't,
simple carbs.
yeah, I'm not a salt person, but there's definitely certain races that I'm eating chips, and like I would never do that, But it's like this is what I need right now, or pickle juice or something, something weird.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Pickle juice is something I've just woken up to.
Pickle juice is amazing.
Yeah, I've never done it during a run, but it's funny because I actually first heard of it because my wife uses that when she gets calf cramps, and I was like, my calves were seizing so bad in my last real marathon, which is already October of 2019. But yeah, the last 5 miles of that race were just so painful. It was just Charlie horse the entire last portion of that race, and didn't discover pickle juice until after that was over.
Yeah, a lot of aid stations that in our ultras, like in the Pennsylvania world, I don't know on other ones, but they'll have aid station with like Dixie cups of like different types of soda, like Coke or ginger ale, uh, some type of coconut water, and pickle juice, and like you'll have a array of different shots you could do, and whatever you feel like. Because I drink a lot of Coke in there. The sugar tastes really good. It's refreshing to me. So I bang a couple of them, and then sometimes I'll be like, "Yep, pickle juice, bang bang," And it's weird. It's not like a normal everyday thought process, but when you see it, you're like, "Yeah, I'll do that," and it works.
Yeah.
Pickle juice and Fireball. My mind is blown. Wow, I can't
iron
imagine.
stomach, sir.
All right, so you're going on a long run, right? It's long run day. Where are you going to run? How far are you going to go? And what are you going to bring with you?
Oh boy.
Keeping in mind that, long runs are relative, because I remember back when 3 miles was a long run for me, and
that's the thing. Yeah. I mean, when you're first building up, when you're a new runner and you're just kind of building your base for the first time. Yeah, absolutely. 5-6 miles is like a massive distance.
I mean, when you're first starting, 5 miles might as well be a marathon.
Oh, I remember the first time I hit 10 miles and how proud I was of myself. I was like, check it out, double digits. Oh, looks like Rosser dropped.
Oh no. He has connection problems. It's all
yeah. He's out there in the countryside in Pennsylvania. But I remember when double digits was a big deal, and I mean it is a big deal. It's just one of those things that once you've been running for a long time, you kind of forget that. You know what I mean? It's kind of like after you've been at it for a number of years, it's kind of like I don't even think of anything under like 18 miles is a long run. It's just kind of, you know what I mean? It's just kind of like,
That's like in my last update video when I talked about that I went on an easy 7 mile run, and I was like 5 years ago, those words would not have come out of my mouth. Easy 7 mile run, but
absolutely.
But now, when my long runs are usually, anywhere between 15 and 20 miles now,
That's awesome.
So it's 7 miles is pretty easy compared to those.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like it's all relative. It's all relative. And nobody should be comparing themselves to others. Don't listen to anything I say or
Yeah.
Rosser has to say about running 100 miles and feel like you're less than because you're out there and you're pushing to get to like 3 or 4 miles. I mean, you'll get there. If you want
Oh,
to
yeah.
go long, you'll eventually get there. So
Oh, Susie's here.
oh, awesome.
Susie,
Let's see if
come
she
in.
picks.
We'll see if hopefully she got the link that I sent her on Instagram.
Yeah, Susie, check Instagram. It's in the Masters of YouTube chat area.
That's true. Any distance that you go, you're going faster than everybody that sat on the couch that day.
Exactly, exactly. I mean, as long as you're out there and as long as you're enjoying it, don't go out there and kill yourself. Don't push yourself to the point where you don't want to go out the next weekend and do it again.
And
Mhm.
sometimes there have been times before when I've gone out on a long run, I get 2 or 3 miles into it and just go, you know what? This is not a good day. So I turn around
Yeah.
and head
Oh,
home,
yeah. Oh,
It happens.
absolutely. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've had 2 or 3 of those days just in the training block for this particular half marathon that I'm about to do, where it was just like like if I had a hard run the day before, and you know, I, I'll get like 3 or 4 miles into a run, and it's like it's supposed to be a 10-mile day or whatever, and it's like you just cut it at 4 or 5.
Yep.
Just go get the rest your body needs, and then have at it the next day. Don't risk an injury.
Yeah.
That's never worth it, because once you injure yourself, you're out for
And I
a
am
long
the
time.
worst at listening to when my body needs to take a rest because I'm like, no, I'm supposed to run today.
Yeah, I spent many years doing that.
Mhm.
And trust me, my PT loves when I do that because
Yeah.
more money in their pocket.
So
But yeah,
typically, my typical long run is, like I said, it's going to be on the weekends, anything from 15 to 20 miles. Obviously, since I'm doing marathon training, I'm ramping that up towards the 20, 22, 24 miles. And
yeah,
usually, I stick to the roads for that because most marathons are going to be on the road. So that's what I do, unless the weather's just really not agreeing with me. Like I said, if there's lightning, um,
oh,
if
of course, yeah,
and of course we get triple digit summers here, so that's not happening outside. So thankfully, I have a treadmill, so I can
yep,
make that happen. But
that's awesome.
as far as what I bring with me, it's mostly I'm big on hydration. That's my big thing because I lose electrolytes so fast.
I'm glad I'm
And
not the only one. Yeah, I'm
oh,
terrible for that. Yeah,
it's so I've got to hydrate and replenish electrolytes all the time, and then usually bring a few gels with me that also have electrolytes in them just in case. And I've
now do you
so
supplement that with like salt pills or anything, or have you gone that far yet?
I've found that Tailwind works really well for me.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
my stuff. That's my
so
go-to.
yeah, that's usually what I'll bring with me on a run, and then liquid IV after a run.
Yeah, I've heard you talk about that before, but I still haven't tried it. I'm
Yeah.
dying to after this time trial's over and I've got a little bit more freedom to experiment. That's when I'll jump in and try it.
And like we were saying earlier, these long runs are great for experimenting with new stuff if there's nothing, specific that you're trying to accomplish that day. Because there have been times when I've said, okay, I'm running 13 miles today. I haven't tried these chews before. I'm going to bring those with me,
Yeah,
and usually I'll make sure that I loop by my house every few miles or so because if those chews are not working out for me, then I can grab something else or, so.
see, that's the difference between you and me. You've got that kind of brilliant pre-planning. Come home and try again. Whereas me, I'll just be out there just like 15 miles from the house thinking, why did I go away? Why did I go out that far? Now I got to
Yeah,
come back.
I tend to plan it so that I can loop by either my house or like my parents' house or by a store every few miles or so, just in case, because I don't know when something's going to go wrong.
Yeah. So yeah, you're just putting out the great tips right and left here. You know, everybody do as Heather does and ignore everything that I say, basically. So,
Oh,
yeah,
Susie's
I mean,
having issues.
yeah, I saw.
Oh,
So,
Susie, come back. We miss you.
Heather, I'm curious. Do you ever like, since you are mostly training for road races and stuff like that, do you ever borrow from the ultra world and fuel with real foods, or are you pretty much like a gel and tailwind person?
I have actually in the last month or so started looking at a few real food things. I can't do a whole lot of solids like bars or anything because those just tend to sit really heavy on my stomach, but I can do stuff like applesauce. Um, they make like
Gotcha.
applesauce packets, like Go-Go Squeeze is my current favorite. They were giving those out at an expo one time and grabbed a whole bunch of those, and you know, those were they're really good. I mean, it's quick energy and it's not too heavy. So
Yeah, I've done the baby food squeezes before, like
mhm.
like
Yeah,
apple carrot and stuff like that.
yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
yeah, and it's like a spring energy. The what's the one that's named after Sage Canaday, the Canterbury, I think.
Oh yeah.
Oh, boy, do I love that! It's so good. It tastes so good. But what I've found is that when I'm out for just like an easy run,
Mhm.
that's enough fuel to keep me going. But I hate to say this, but for my system, the like the gels that are made out of like real food, like the real food source gels, I think they work for me only on easy runs when I'm taking it
Hi, I'm here. God, this is the production of the century. My phone didn't connect.
Glad to see you here.
Oh Lord, I am just glad I'm here, guys. Let's put it that way. Okay.
Are you okay?
I don't know why my phone didn't want to connect.
Wow,
no.
I'm glad you made it
Anyway.
through traffic.
Oh yeah, it looks like I run here because I'm not even. Where's Brian? What did I miss?
He's right there.
Oh,
There he is. He was having
We're-
connection issues for a few minutes there.
good.
Yay, we're all here now.
Very nice.
Yeah.
The
I have
band is
been
back together.
I've been watching my internet. I live in country land, so my internet sucks. So and then it crashed and I rebooted my computer, which is 400 years old. And it takes like
At least.
yeah, it takes 10 minutes to reboot. So yeah.
I was
Cool.
wondering if driving when I drove from where, well, my son drove actually, where we were driving from, if we passed. Do you live by Harrisburg?
I'm about an hour or so. Do you have a headset?
I don't.
Okay, because yeah, a
I
little
do.
bit of an
Okay. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Oh, I just killed Susie. I'm so sorry. Yeah, so hydration. Let's see if I
Yeah.
can do it without that. I don't bring hydration until after. Yeah, look at you, Heather. Good job. Can you can still hear me, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you're
Yeah. All right. So there, it looks like she's in.
Are you
Yep.
in? All
There we
right.
go.
Cool.
So
Very
I
nice.
don't bring hydration until on my road runs unless it's 10 miles plus. Always on trail though, because I don't know if I'll ever get lost, hurt, or whatever. If I'm, I never calculate trail to the proper distance, so I always bring extra hydration. Lesson learned this past week when I did 22 miles, mile 17, ran out of food and hydration, and
Oh.
I was, it was, I wasn't in trouble, but I was in trouble. Like
Yeah.
I was running with somebody, and I was like, you know where the cars are. I'll be safe. You know, you could go ahead. And she's like, no, and like made me keep going. Otherwise, if I was by myself, I would have sat down for 20
Save
minutes or so.
yourself. Go on without me.
Right. And my And my calories, I use those apple sauces. They're 70 calories a piece, and that is one of my go-to. That is my gel. So that's when I saw you do a video on it, and I commented like, "That's what I use."
Yeah.
You know, like I usually get like a box of 4 or 12, and I keep that with me, and I bang like 2 of them every couple miles. But that only lasts for so long because then you get sick of applesauce. So,
I was going to say, yeah.
Yeah, even gels. It's good to have a variety of different flavors because then you can, monotony just kills the joy.
Yeah, it's funny. I used to just go into the running store and just buy just literally just go up to the gel section, just randomly grab, you know. But yeah, it's funny because now I've kind of specialized. It's like I've got my one flavor and it drives me crazy, but I know it fuels me well. Like it gives me the caffeine and the sugar that I need. So I just kind of grin and bear it.
I could eat anything, I think. Well, that's it's crossed my fingers but I've never, I've eaten anything on a long run and it's never gone wrong with my stomach. Never.
Wow, that's amazing.
So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I've been lucky. But, it's hard when you're in a long run and you are hungry. I remember when I started doing long runs at the beginning when I started running, and I would go like 16 miles, 17 miles when I was training for Philadelphia. Sometimes I would not time it well, and I would run out of fuel by mile 15. Those last 2 or 3 miles, you're like, oh my God, I'm going to eat the grass growing here. It's like, I'm so hungry. Yeah.
Yep.
And it's, I mean, you're miserable because
yeah,
you can't think about anything else.
No, even after a half marathon, I'm ready to eat anything that's in front of me.
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah. When you're burning that hot, yeah, your body just needs to refuel as soon as possible.
Yeah, my beginning miles on my long stuff, I eat a lot of food, peanut butter and jelly, Pop-Tarts, which sounds crazy, but that's for 2 Pop-Tarts, it's over 400 calories and has like
those are quick carbs, so
yeah,
and it's a lot of sugar.
and has a lot in there, and so I'm able to actually chew and swallow that in the first 15 miles. That's then I mix in the applesauce here and there, but I save the applesauce for the last burning calories because I can slurp that stuff and it's easier to swallow that because chewing something in the first 10 miles, I could eat 2 Pop-Tarts. And the next 10 miles, it takes me 10 miles to eat 2 Pop-Tarts. You're taking a bite and it's forever. So you have to figure out like a better way. Sometimes oranges and stuff like that.
At that point in the race, your body has moved blood away from your stomach and into your legs to keep them going. So anything solid is going to be harder to eat that late on.
Yeah, you don't have as much liquid in your mouth anymore. It's just you're kind of getting a little arid around here, and it's moving it elsewhere. So,
yeah, I do the cuties as well, oranges, and I pre-peel them before I go. I throw them in a baggie. Other than that, I have to rip them apart as I'm trying to run, and eating them that way. But yeah, I like fruit.
Look what Reto is saying. For a 100-mile ultra, it's impossible to replace 10,000 calories. But that's, this is when Heather and I, being women, we burn through a lot less. I mean, I look at, I ran a full marathon and I burned 900 calories. It's like, come on, give me something better. I've been running 4.5 hours. My lungs were about to burst. I just burned 950 calories. Come on.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm about 100 calories per mile with my height and weight and stuff like that. So.
I doubt it.
Yeah, same with me.
Yeah, and for 10,000 calories for the actual race. Yeah, so for nutrition, I don't know how you guys base it marathon-wise, but your nutrition isn't just on race day for the fuel. And it's not just eating a big spaghetti dinner the night before as well. So
thank you for saying that.
You want to, as I said, I'm just going off of what I do and what ultra mentality is if you don't eat the right stuff and fuel the whole week, including hydration as well, and you get to the starting line and you're just at baseline calories, you're actually in the negative already. And then it's catch up because you're not going to do 10,000 calories. Your body, it's going to be difficult to take that in for 100 miles. So you want to be in the positive before you even start. You want to be in the positive before you even start. So as you start the race and you're minusing those calories out, you're slowly, losing them.
Yeah, the differential is slowed. Exactly. Yeah, it's funny because Reto and I were talking about this just a couple of days ago, but yeah, he was saying that in the ultra world, it's like half of people who toe the start line are towing the start line in an already dehydrated state, which is like just amazing to me. That you know.
Oh yeah, personally, yes, I failed. I DNF'd a lot of races because I went in with the right intentions, but due to lack of experience, nutrition is the biggest issue that I have. So if my races, 100 miles, usually start at like 5 a.m. If you're not eating at like a decent meal at like 3 a.m. for your body to actually have that already in there and then eat at the starting line as well, a bagel with peanut butter or something, and then you're using your momentum in the beginning couple miles, it's going to balance. And I still eat at the first couple aid stations, and then I try to get a rhythm and stuff like that. But there's been many times like I woke up, like I would drive to the 100-miler and sleep in my car and like maybe eat before the race. So by the time I'm at mile 10, I'm already negative 500 calories or more. And as I'm eating, I'm not even filling that tank. So like you bonk a lot harder, a lot faster. You destroy muscles. It destroys up here because then you're like hungry and you're struggling. So if you're not prepared with a plan, eating, as I said, it doesn't start just on race day. It's a build-up process.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's funny because at the beginning of the week before, hey, Susie, at the beginning of the week before, it's I like to go protein heavy, and then the last 3 days it switches, and it's got to be really carb heavy. And the other thing for me that I've discovered through experimentation over the many weeks of long runs is that if my stomach just I can't perform and my stomach will not leave me alone and let me just run if my last meal before a long run or before a race is any closer than 4 hours from the start gun, I'm toast. Like I can't just chomp something a couple hours beforehand. I need 4 to 5 hours before. I got to finish my meal 4 to 5 hours before the start gun.
Wow.
Done. Just done.
So do you wake up early and eat?
Stupid hours. Yeah, my breakfast on race day.
He was gonna say.
On race days, yeah, my breakfast is like 2 a.m. for like a 7 a.m.
I couldn't
start
do
time.
that.
It's ridiculous. Yeah, I hate it, but it's the only way I can do it.
I usually eat 2 hours before the race, or two and a
wish I
half.
could
I
do
mean, it
that.
depends on how far.
You seem
it
to
is.
have just an iron stomach. You're
My
amazing.
stomach is just bulletproof. Yeah. I've eaten a banana through, like in the middle of a race. Like, just my husband gave me a banana and I just ate the banana. So, the whole banana. So, yeah.
Yeah, bananas are wonder drugs. Like they're always.
Oh, you just feel like you're you're like crashing. You eat that banana and it's that potassium is great.
Yeah, I've always found the idea of refueling based on calories expended. I found that really interesting, as I know in ultras you pretty much have to do that.
Yeah.
Whereas I know with like road marathons and half marathons, a lot of it is by time or just by distance. Like, every hour I'm going to take in this much hydration and so on. So
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
something that's a lot that's kind of different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a learned experience trait, because once you are feeling hungry or depleted in an ultra, you're already double in the hole to where you should be eating so you're not feeling that hunger or that bonking sensation. By then it's not too late, but you're you're already in a hole then. So you
Right.
have to figure out, hey, I should be eating uh, by mileage, by hour, whatever the body is telling you to do. And then if you're in a race, especially for longer distances like 50K, 100K, and stuff like that, you almost want to have an idea of the races and study the race
Mhm.
guide beforehand. Like, oh, uh, mile 30 to 36 is going to be X amount of elevation. Uh, and the next aid station is 4 miles after that. So you want to have things budgeted and studied in your head. At times, I write numbers on my arm of
Mhm.
like aid
Right.
stations with times and then the distance to the next one. So I have it's sharpied, so I could look at it like fast and stuff like that to say, oh, I'm behind schedule or I'm ahead of schedule, and the next aid station is going to be 4 miles or 3 miles, and then I can work out math that you're not supposed
Right.
to when you're running. So
After a certain mile point, yeah, I just can't do math anymore. It's just impossible.
It distracts your mind though. Sometimes I count. Like I'm counting my steps, like 1, 2, 3, and then once I
right,
get lost, I start at 1 again because there's a point in which you don't know where you are with your
Oh,
counting.
exactly.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's
By
like,
mile
okay,
20,
let's
it's
start
like
again.
by mile 20, I just have to do anything I can to engage the left side of my mind, because if I'm not trying to analyze something, the only thing you're thinking about is the pain. So it's like,
Yeah,
right,
yeah. And it's
yeah.
interesting how that
Counting
works.
works for like cadences and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So like you work out a beat in your head. You could be like 1, 2, 3,
Mhm.
4, 1, 2, and then
Right.
that's a good distraction for me. I do that type of stuff as well. So
I have a friend who counts people. Like when she starts getting really tired in a race,
Oh
she starts
yeah.
counting people. So she counts how many people she passes and how many people, and she's always like 1, 2, 3, and then like she goes back when someone passes her. So then when she gets to the end, she tells you 16. It's like, yeah, because she
right,
passed 16, and if she's in the negative, it means that however many people passed her.
right,
So
and whatever you have to do to distract the mind to get you to the finish.
Mhm.
So
yeah,
right,
yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely.
I go. Which things are going to change a little bit, but most of I would say almost all my races, I go without crew and pacers. And my whole idea is to go and I talk to people. I'm like real strange. And like you find people that you're running with for hours back and forth, and then you get to know them and you become personal friends with them. They become your crew and pacers. So do their crew and their pacers, So throughout the races, I gained some really good friendships, not knowing these people, different parts of the country or the world, and they become my crew and my distraction, and I just talk and have a good time. So that's what I do
right.
as a distraction for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. I've met a lot of cool people on races too, like where you just, at various different places. I'll always ask somebody as I pass them if I'm not just flying by them, which never really happens anyway. But
Oh, yeah. Because you're not fast at all, Paul.
He's super fast, people.
you're embarrassing me.
He's blushing. Oh my God.
But at any rate, my point is this: whenever I'm with somebody, I'll always, that's the first question out of my mouth is what's your goal? What's your goal time? And if we're within a couple of minutes of each other, then we just kind of stick to each other, just because it's so much easier to get through the race when you've got somebody. Even if you're just running too hard and even if you're not feeling good and you can't converse back and forth, just seeing that person with you makes such a difference mentally.
Yeah,
Right.
or following someone. When you pick someone who's ahead of you and you're like, I'm just going to follow that person. Seems like a good pace. I'm just going to, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That's what always gets me through the last 2 or 3 miles of a marathon is if there's anybody in the distance. If I can see somebody like a quarter mile up or whatever the case may be, depending on how many turns there are, You just pick that person and just, I'm gonna pass that person before this is
one
over.
by one.
Just go.
Yep.
It happened
Right.
at the end of a 10K for me once. There was a girl who was about, 50 feet ahead of me. And I thought, I wonder if I could catch up to her because we're almost to the finish line. So I started running faster. Well, she noticed me running faster. So
Oh,
she
that's
started
awesome.
running faster. So then I started chasing her and she's like sprinting towards the finish line. So I start sprinting after her and she crosses the finish line like maybe a minute or not a minute, but like a couple of seconds ahead of me. And the first thing she does when she crosses is she turns around, she goes, "That was fun. Good job."
Yeah, that has happened to me in races when you're trying to, at the last, in the last stretch, you decide to sort of race with someone. You're not talking to them, but they're racing with you. Yeah.
Right. Yeah,
I
I've
did a
definitely.
15K once in which I was following this girl, and I know it was her because it was a superhero race. So people were dressed in costumes, which I wasn't.
Oh,
I signed up for it, but I didn't know how much people were going to be dressed in costumes. So I was like, I'm sure I'm going to be the only one. If I dressed up in a costume, I'm going to be the only one. I don't want to be the only one. So I just was wearing, like my shirts, and it was in the summer. But then I got there, and pretty much every single woman was, what's this Marvel woman? The woman that has red and then the stars on the skirt.
oh, Wonder
Oh,
Woman.
Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman. So pretty much everybody was Wonder Woman except me. But we were doing this loop in this park, and there was this girl, and she was, like keeping a great pace, and I kept like getting closer to her and getting further, getting closer, getting further. I was like, I need to follow her because she's like, she had it like on the clock. She was like not stopping,
Consistent.
she was so consistent. So it's like as long as I am like pretty much the same distance for her, I'm good. So then last minute, I don't know what happened to her, but the really last stretch, maybe half a mile, she started slowing down. I was like, okay, I'm going to keep going. And then I passed her, and I felt bad because I used her to pace me the whole race.
Oh, it's
So
funny.
yeah, I felt bad because I was like, I passed her. I mean, I think she was just keeping it. So she probably just hit the wall at the end.
Did you talk to her at the end of the race?
I tried finding her and I couldn't. I was like, I need to
Wow.
talk to her. Where is she? Like, the funny thing
there's-
is, I saw her from the back all the time, so I didn't really know what she
Right.
looked
Yeah.
like. So then I was like, okay, wait a minute. What was her face like? So
Right.
yeah, I couldn't find her.
I definitely approached a few people after races and was like, "Hey, I don't, this might be a little bit creepy. You don't know who I am, but like, you helped me so much, like, male and females. Thank you so much. Like, you pulled me, like, for so many miles. Like I recognize your shoes, your, legs and butt, like." That's all that I see,
For
because
the
I'm running,
back,
yeah, almost running like with my head down, and I was like, you pulled me so far, great job, thank you, and then you spark up a conversation, but everybody's super pumped at the end, and you want to just keep that motivation going.
I was going to say
Yeah.
usually the ultra runners, they tend to be a little more chill about stuff like that. So
yeah.
people coming up to them going, "Hey, I recognize your shoes."
Right. No, I've had a few humbling experiences that I'm climbing a mountain, and somebody's like, "Hey, is that Rosser Runs?" And I don't know who they are, and it's like, it's from behind, and it's like, "Yeah, how you doing?" And then we'll talk a little bit. I'll be like, "Make sure you
Subscribe.
subscribe and share," because I do
Give us a thumbs up.
because I do a lot of Pennsylvania races. So a lot of my race videos are from Pennsylvania. So people, when they search for that race, see my videos. So like, it's pretty weird, for people to like recognize you, especially from behind, like,
Right.
It's so funny that you say that, Rossa, because that happened to me once, and it was at the last marathon. It was October of 2019. I was hanging around waiting for the race to start, and it's a really small mountain race. It's the same one I was talking about before, and everybody was milling around. There's only like 300 people who run the race. That's all they're allowed to let into the race because goes through a state park, and there are limits to how many people can
Right.
go flying through the park.
Same thing with a lot of trails.
Right.
Okay, yeah. So I'm standing there just milling around, waiting. And the guy comes up to me and he says, "You're a dev runner." I'm like, what? And you have to realize this was before I was even YouTube dev runner. I was just like, what do you call it? Bloggy dev runner. So to be recognized for that was like weird. It was like really unnerving.
That has
like,
never happened to me. No one has ever come to me and said, "Hey, you're the girl from I Run Things." Never. So whoever's watching this, please recognize me, because I'm feeling left,
All the kids in the neighborhood know who I am, so there's that.
Oh, no one has ever said anything. No.
Like all of there's like 1,000 kids in this neighborhood. I swear, they're everywhere. And anytime I run, then there's always kids out there. Hi, Miss Heather.
I could maybe see my neighbors. There might be 1,000 people in a 10-mile radius.
Oh, and everybody around my neighborhood is used to me recording stuff now. So now, anytime they see me out, talking to a camera and everything, and I'll put it away, and then I'll hear someone yell, "Was that for your channel?" Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's great.
Yeah, it's funny because when I'm out running now, whenever a car horn beeps, it's like my first reaction is usually, okay, somebody's about to try to run me off the road, and I'll immediately get into a bad mood. Like I'll get this scowl on my face of, oh, here we go again. And then I'll realize, oh, wait, just on the off chance, if they're just recognizing me, maybe I better be nice about this.
I'm going to smile and wave back.
Now, I get people, because I live in the middle of nowhere, that pull over and see if I'm okay. Like, that's happened many times, especially at night. And I do have a headlamp on. And they'll be like, "Is everything okay?" And I'll be like, "Oh, thank you so much," which is cool.
Yeah.
Thank you for checking on me. No, I'm a crazy person. I'm running 10, 20. I don't say I'm a crazy person because that's might freak them out, but I like, oh no.
I don't want to scare them away.
Yeah.
No, I'm just crazy.
Yeah, I'm running. Yeah. Don't mind my sword with me. No, like I'm running. I'm training for a marathon. I tell them, because everybody understands what a marathon is. It's a race, and
Right.
I'm running 10 miles today. I'm training for a marathon. Oh, that's great. Be safe. So I definitely don't live in a populated area. I lived in Philly-esque area like Susie back in the day, and it was house, yard, and a million people on the street. Now, like it's house, mile, cornfield, another house.
See, I go to the track, and when I go to the track, there's always people there. I get my camera, I'm filming myself. Sometimes I put the camera on the bleachers and I talk there. No one ever says anything. They don't even look at me. It's like,
Right.
The other day there was a group of teenagers. And I was like, for sure, if I do this, they're going to ask me who I am. No, they were doing their own thing. They didn't even look at me.
It's normalized. Our generation, here we go, being old. Our generation, this seems, it's not natural yet. We're actually in a weird niche when the kids' generation, right now, millennials or whatever, that's normal. So even if somebody's filming something, they might be FaceTiming or doing whatever or live streaming.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's their communication. So it only bothers you when you're filming of what are people thinking about it. It's normal,
Yeah, exactly. They're digital natives, whereas we had to kind of adopt it along the way.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Oh, that's a way better way of explaining it.
Right. The funny thing is, like my son, he's 17 and all his friends are 17, 16. They don't really want to be on Facebook or Instagram. It's like if you are taking a picture or something, they ask me like, "That's not going on Facebook, right?" Like they just don't want to. So it's so interesting how there's the generation. I think our generation has become used to like Facebook and sharing with others online, then people younger than us, I think, use social media a lot. But then, like the young kids, they don't want to be on social media.
Yeah, well,
It's so interesting.
Facebook is for old people. If you
Yeah.
talk to anybody, like my daughter is 16. She has Facebook. She goes on it once a month, maybe. You know, just for like my mother, like her grandparents and stuff like that. And you know, we're the old generation. That's our MySpace, I guess. You know,
Oh my gosh, MySpace.
when they're using Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, and stuff like that, that's more of an immediate, quick, you know, fix.
But I think they use it a lot without. This doesn't have anything to do with running, but they use it a lot in like they're not recognized for who they are. It's not like us, you know, we're ourselves. I think when they go on TikTok, it's just whoever, you know, like they're doing a dance or sharing something, but it's not necessarily them.
Right.
Like they use a nickname. It's not like they don't want anybody to know that they're doing that.
Yeah,
Whereas
I agree.
we don't care. You know, that's the thing. Yeah, that's right. You know, my son, he's always like, I take pictures. Like when they were doing marching band, I would take pictures of them. They always would say, text us that, but please don't put it on Instagram. Don't put it on Facebook. And he's like, no, text it. It's like, this is so old. This is like what my parents would tell me. Like, text me that picture. I would say, tag me on Instagram. You know, like, that's what I would say.
Right.
So.
Yeah, my kids, they don't use their names on any of their social media. It's an alias.
Right.
I brand myself with Rasa Runs and cross-platform it, and everything I do goes on social media. You know,
Right.
It holds me accountable for what I'm like trying to do. You know, training.
And you know, I think it's hard because also when you are on races, anybody can actually check your number and find you. So it's not. Yeah, I always find it like you can't. You know, you have to say. Like if someone wants to find out what time you did on a race, it's so easy to do. I mean, they just need to check the number and
Right. Yeah, that stuff doesn't. I'm a male, so I don't think as much in that category of being tracked down. Which I know a lot of my running partners are female. I go out at night. I work third shift, so when I'm not working, I do a lot of my runs at night. I love night runs, and when I always tell them, "Oh, you should night run. It's very peaceful, you know, especially in country land," and they're like, "Yeah, but it's kind of scary," and I'm like, "Ooh, yep, I don't think like that, you know, like I don't."
Yeah. Because it's one of those differences that you don't realize when you're a guy. It's just it's just unfortunately something that still matters in this world.
Yeah, I don't know where I was going with that.
And we are fortunate. I think in the United States, we're fortunate. There's a lot of countries where women can't even run.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, good point as well.
I mean, if you're in certain, and you don't have to go, like you can go to, I don't know, even India, depending on where you are, a woman cannot run because, you know, it's just not safe. So there are many places in the world. I mean, you don't have to go to like a Muslim, you know, you don't have to go any place that's like, you know, where women are in the realm of the house. You know, in countries where women actually go out and work outside the house, they still cannot run outside. So it's dangerous for them.
Sad and scary. It's an unfortunate
Well, guys,
thing.
we have been going for an hour, so
wow.
We're going to go ahead and start wrapping things up. If you guys would like to tell everybody where they can find you, Paul?
Yeah, sure. I am Dev Runner on YouTube. I am the Dev Runner on Instagram, and I am Paul DeVillo on Strava. I encourage you to tune into my channel. Big news coming. Even though I'm running the time trial on Saturday, I probably will not post the video with the final results until early next week. But I encourage everybody to head over to my channel, subscribe, like everything, you know, all the fun stuff.
Like, always thumbs up, and never thumbs down. Always up.
Always thumbs up.
Exactly.
All right, Brian, where can people find you?
I'm Rasa Runs across all platforms, Instagram. I'm doing TikTok now because it's the cool thing. I do ultras, and right now I'm doing episodes for 100K training. I have a 50 miler coming up in 3 weeks, and everything is for suicide prevention. If you hit up my channel, I target everything towards suicide prevention, and that's all my goals are situated around that. So yeah, hit me up, Rosser Runs, all platforms, even old person Facebook.
And Susie, where can people find you?
So I run things across all platforms except on Instagram and Real I Run Things, because there's another woman who's I Run Things and she never posts on Instagram. So, but she has taken the name. Yeah, and I'm running a trail race in August and then a marathon in September. And I'm trying to qualify for Boston. And Heather and I are going live on my channel on Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, guys, if you're listening to this, come join us Saturday at 3 p.m.
That's awesome. I'll be tuning in for sure.
And I am Heather, and I'm running Geek Girl on all platforms. And make sure that you are subscribed to all of us, definitely. So, and subscribe to people that you see in the chat.
And give it a thumbs up.
And give us a thumbs up.
Share with your friends.
But thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And we are going to have another live stream next month. And I think Ryan, it's your turn to host. So it's going to be over on the Rosser Runs channel. So stay tuned for more info on that. Make sure that you are following us on social media so that you know exactly when it is that we're going to go live again. But thank you again, everybody, and we will see you next month. So
Cool.
Awesome.
Peace out.
See you guys. Thanks
Bye-bye.
for joining. Bye-bye.